Hello everyone, myself Professor Deepak Sharma from KLS VDIT Haryar welcomes you all to the lecture series on VLSI design. We are starting with the module 2. This is a syllabus where we will be studying MOS and BiCMOS circuit design processes, in which we will be studying about MOS layers, stick diagrams, design rules, and how to draw the layouts of different circuits. In the second half, we will be studying about very basic circuit concepts such as sheet resistance, area capacitance, then some calculations based on capacitances and delay unit, followed by inverter delays and driving large capacitive loads. This module uh, tells us about how circuit designs can be imprinted onto the silicon. So there are basically three subheadings in my presentation: MOS layers, stick diagram, and design rules. Coming to MOS layers, so before starting the MOS layers, let me tell you what is the importance of these MOS layers and why we are studying this module. Actually, we have studied in module 1 drawing of schematic diagram for different circuits like AND gate, OR gate, NAND gate, etc. Now, in order to imprint the same schematics or the actual circuit onto the silicon, we need to study these different types of MOS layers. In VLSI, there are different engineers like design engineers who actually designs the main circuitry, and that design will be passed on to fabricators. The job of the fabricators is to simply implement the same design onto the silicon chip, that is onto the silicon wafer. Hence, there should be some um, handshaking or matching between the designer and the fabricator. It should not happen like the designer has given AND gate and the fabricator is fabricating NAND gate or some other gate. Therefore, these MOS layers and these layouts and these stick diagrams, everything, these play like a role of a mediator between the designer and the fabricator. Further, as we move further, we will come to know in detail the concept of MOS layers, and after learning this chapter, definitely we will be able to know the importance, how important this topic is. So basically, MOS circuits are formed on four basic layers, that is N diffusion, P diffusion, polysilicon, and metal. The thin oxide mask region includes N diffusion, P diffusion, and transistor channels. So whenever a polysilicon it crosses the thin ox region, either P diffusion or N diffusion, then there is a formation of transistor or the MOSFET. That is, transistor is formed where they cross each other. Stick diagrams can be used to convey the layer information through the use of a color code, and instead of that, even we can use some monochrome encoding also. Okay. So polysilicon, we can say polysilicon is a gate. That is, in transistor we have source, drain and gate. We can say polysilicon is nothing but like a gate terminal, and whenever this type of polysilicon it crosses either p diffusion or n diffusion, at that time a transistor is formed. As I have said earlier, these are the color codings for different types of layers. Say for metal 1, the color coding is blue, and in mask layout it is represented by in this way, that is a rectangular shape. Within that there will be straight lines. Similarly, polysilicon will have slanted lines within a rectangular box, and the slanted lines will move from left to right. But whereas p diffusion or n diffusion, in a rectangular box the slanted lines will be from right side to left side. In n diffusion, the distance between these lines which are present inside the rectangular box, it will be less, and in p diffusion they will be far apart. So these are different color codes or color conventions for different types of layers. Basically, preferably we use only these types of layers, that is polysilicon, metal, uh, p diffusion and n diffusion. Also we use buried contact and implant also, and contact cut. I'll brief about all these things in coming slides. So P plus mask and P diffusion, how they are represented, this is the way of representing them. Metal 2. Metal 2 will be having, see in metal 1 we had a rectangular box, within that we had vertical lines, but here we have horizontal lines that represents metal 2. And via is nothing but whenever we want to switch over from one layer to other layer, at that time we use via. All these things can be very easily understood if we go through some simulation tools like Cadence or if any other freely available tool like Microwind, etc. This is P-well. In fabrication, you have studied P-well, N-well. So P-well is represented in this way, followed by VSS, VDD, etc. So these are the basic conventions. Polysilicon 2, like metal 1 and metal 2, we have polysilicon 1, polysilicon 2, etc. So here this is bipolar NPN transistor. So these are few representations. Just now I had said you that whenever a polysilicon is being crossed by either N diffusion or P diffusion, at that time it forms a transistor. Here we are seeing it is N type enhancement mode transistor. So N type means the black color, this will be the N diffusion layer, and the red color it is polysilicon. And L is to W. L and W represents length and width of the channel where the electrons or the majority carriers flows. This is the symbol, and in layout you will be able to see this kind of diagrams. Depletion mode transistor. Here one yellow color square box is shown around this junction. It represents that the channel is already present. Hence we know that the major difference between depletion and enhancement is, in enhancement the channel is not present, in depletion the channel is present. In enhancement we build the channel by giving some necessary voltages, but in depletion it is not required. So this type of yellow colored square box represents that it is depletion mode transistor. Here we don't have it, so this is the symbol of that. So here now I am just covering very basic things. These will be useful in drawing the layouts of the circuits. This is p-type enhancement mode transistor. Here also polysilicon is being crossed over by p diffusion because it is p-type, and this is the representation. So this is the summary of that. The polysilicon, it will be red in color, and in mask layout it will be looking like the slanted lines from left to right, and diffusion will be from right to left. Metal one in this way, contact cut, implant, buried contact, etc. So these conventions we need to remember for drawing the layout or the stick diagram. Here we have P plus mask, metal 2, via, P well, etc. So these are the very basic things which has to be remembered for the exam point of view, followed by polysilicon and NPN transistor. So as said earlier, we know how the transistor is formed. So I'm just quickly going through the summary. Here also, this is N-type enhancement transistor. This is depletion type transistor. This is P-type enhancement transistor. You are seeing the difference here. Here the slanted lines from right to left, the distance between the successive lines is more, but here they are too near to each other. So this is N type, this is P type. And polysilicon, it is same, it is common. This point we already covered. Diffusion wires are N type. So again, these are the very basic few points. When starting a layout, first step. So just say how to draw a layout. We know how to draw the stick diagrams. That is, initially we take VDD, then we just draw the different MOSFETs, P type or N type. Then we have something called as ground, and at the center we have a demarcation line which separates P MOSFETs from the N MOSFETs. That is, above the demarcation line usually we have all the P type MOSFETs, and below the demarcation line we have N type MOSFETs. So before starting a layout, the first step is to draw the VDD and ground, which will be nothing but metal 1, and it will be blue in color as we have seen in the previous slides, according to color conventions. So first we'll be drawing the blue color VDD and ground, and between these VDD and ground there will be enough space to draw the actual circuit or the layout, allowing enough space between them for other circuit elements which will be required. Then yellow in CMOS design is used to identify the P transistors. The two types of transistors, usually we know it is N and P, and are separated in the stick layout by demarcation line. That is what I have said you just now, that the demarcation line will separate P from N. The N devices will be placed below the demarcation line, and P devices will be placed above the demarcation line. So the next is After drawing the VDD and ground, we will place the transistors, P transistors and N transistors between the VDD and ground, and we will take care that above the demarcation line we have P type transistors, and below the demarcation line we have N type transistors. Then as per the design we just interconnect them to form the actual circuit. For example, if we have an AND gate, then we will be connecting two NMOS transistors in series below the demarcation line, and above that we will be drawing the P MOSFETs in parallel. In the same way, in drawing the layout also, we will be placing the transistors as per the connections. The connections, we know it because we are the designers how the connections will be. So these are the points to be followed while drawing the layout. After doing the connections, what we do, we just add the data inputs and control signals. Say for example, there are two inputs. The input may be A and B. So after drawing the transistors, finally we add the inputs and output Y. Coming to the design rules, there are a set of rules called as lambda based design rules. What is the objective of that is, it will translate the circuit into actual geometry into the silicon wafer. That is translation of the circuit or circuit design into the actual geometry onto the silicon wafer. Say in previously we have studied that the silicon wafer usually it will be around 10 to 15 centimeters in diameter. So there will be multiple chips, many chips onto the silicon wafer. So on every chip we need to draw the geometry, or we need to draw how the actual AND gate will be. So say on this silicon wafer, if I am just manufacturing all the AND gates, then on every chip I have to draw how the AND gate looks like. That is the actual geometry. So the circuit design converted into geometry, that thing is done by following some set of design rules, and stick diagrams and layout are the medium how we transfer the circuit into the actual geometry. The design rules, they are nothing but an effective interface between the system designer and the fabrication engineer. The system designer will give the circuit or the actual design, and the fabricator needs to fabricate that design onto the actual chip. So this set of design rules and stick diagram and layouts, all these help in doing so, converting the design into the actual geometry. We know we follow some lambda based design rules. Now what is lambda? Lambda can be uh, lambda is not defined like lambda is 1 millimeter or 1 micrometer or 1 nanometer. No, it is not defined. So lambda based design rules, they are widely used. Single parameter lambda, which will lead to simple set of rules for designer and fabrication houses. So we know we will follow some rules, and what is the advantage of that? If I follow lambda based design rules, then I will be optimizing my circuit. And when I think of optimization, then these three parameters comes into picture: area, delay and power. So the area will be reduced, the delay will be reduced, the power consumption will be reduced if I have scaling in my design. That is, if my design is optimized. And how do I achieve that optimization, or how do I achieve that scaling? I achieve that by using these set of design rules. That is lambda based design rules. And coming to lambda, we say lambda is a simple unit and it can be allocated an appropriate value. It is not a fixed value, like it should be always 1 nanometer. No, nothing like that. It can be allocated any appropriate value which is compatible with the future size of the fabrication process. That is, we have automation in the fabrication process. All the things will be done by the machine. It is an automated process. So depending on the fabrication plant and machines, that lambda is decided. Say it should be 14 nanometers, or it should be 100 nanometers, etc., etc. So it is not a fixed. So it say if I am drawing two lines, then the distance between two lines can be lambda, and that lambda, it is not fixed. That lambda, like it may be 14 nanometers or 100 nanometers depending on the fabrication plant or the fabrication process. But this length will be fixed for one particular fabrication plant or one particular fabrication process. Coming to the design rules, see, I am drawing a simple straight line here. Now this straight line, it is visible to everybody. Why? Because it has some standard thickness. If I had taken the thickness of the pointer to be very thin, even this is visible. If I take again more thinner, then it may not be visible, right? So in the same way, I have decided on how the thickness should be, how the thickness of this line should be in order to be visible to you all. I have decided that. In the same way, here basically what we are doing is we are translating any circuit into geometry, that is, onto the silicon we are just translating this circuitry. We are just translating the circuitry or the design or any circuit into the geometry, or how it should be placed inside a chip, right? How it should be placed inside a chip. So for that we have different layers, that is N diffusion, P diffusion, polysilicon, metal 1, metal 2, etc., etc. We follow some set of rules in order to actually avoid the interconnection between them. There should not be some short circuit, right? The main thing is, say if I am drawing metal 1 side by side, say if this is VDD and the other one is ground, suppose if there is a very little gap between them, then what will happen? There is a chance that VDD may touch to the ground. In VLSI we are working in nanometer scale, that is, everything is in nanometer, and if by chance the distance between these two lines, if it is becoming lesser and lesser, there is a chance that the VDD may get shorted to the ground line. And if that thing happens, then my circuit will become waste, or that chip will become completely waste. Therefore, we follow some set of rules to make the design very standard. Say for example, what should be the thickness of the diffusion layer? So universally it is chosen, it should be 2 lambda. And what should be the distance between these two? What should be the distance between these two, so it is chosen as 3 lambda. So p diffusion to p diffusion, if we are drawing two p diffusions, then the minimum distance between that should be 3 lambda. Say if lambda is 1 micrometer, one standard or 1 micrometer, then this distance should be 3 micrometers, because 1 lambda is 1 micrometer, 3 lambda indicates it is 3 micrometer. So in drawing the layout, I should maintain a minimum distance of 3 micrometer between p diffusion to p diffusion, and minimum thickness of this diffusion region or diffusion layer, it should be 2 lambda. It can be more than that. Distance between the diffusion region and the polysilicon, it should be minimum 1 lambda. Otherwise what may happen, as I said, some shortings may happen which may destroy the circuit, which may cause the failure of the circuit. Similarly, we have here distance between polysilicon, it should be maintained 2 lambda, and minimum thickness of the polysilicon, again it is 2 lambda. Coming to metal 1, metal 1 minimum thickness should be 3 lambda, and distance between one metal to other metal, that is metal 1 to metal 1, it should be again 3 lambda. Metal 2 minimum thickness should be 4 lambda, and distance between metal 2 to metal 2 should also be 4 lambda. So these are the few design rules which we need to follow while drawing the layout. Here we have formation of transistor, NMOS enhancement transistor. This is PMOS enhancement transistor and NMOS depletion transistor. And here again we have some rules, that is implant. This is called as implant. For an NMOS depletion mode transistor, see this dotted line, it indicates that it is a depletion mode transistor where channel is already present. So to extend 2 lambda minimum beyond the channel in all the directions. So after this implant, we need to extend the polysilicon. This is diffusion, so we need to extend the diffusion at least for 2 lambda. So we cannot immediately stop at this point, it has to be extended for 2 lambda. Similarly here also we have, if we are drawing a cut here, then this cut should not come before 2 lambda. See, there is again this is a transistor, so after 2 lambda we can just reduce the width or thickness of this layer. So again we have rules regarding cuts. So the cut centered should be 2 lambda cross 2 lambda. It should be superimposed on 4 lambda cross 4 lambda. See, we have two different square boxes here. So this inner square box is 2 lambda cross 2 lambda cut. It is again centered, that is it is at the center position on 4 cross 4 lambda, and these are superimposed areas of the layers. Here it is saying minimum distance, minimum thickness, again it is 2 lambda, and if we have different multiple cuts here, then the minimum distance between the cuts should be 2 lambda. So all these things comes into picture when we go deeper and deeper into the drawing the layouts. So as I said you earlier, the very basic things are contact cuts, P diffusion, N diffusion, polysilicon and metal layer.